Welcome to our tour of our new video studio. So this is where I'm normally sitting for the podcast, right here at the desk. But there's some cool stuff I want to show you. This background right here, it's got some of my books from before, make it feel a little bit like home. It's got my Lego mug that maybe you saw in the background or not. And then it's got our new logo thing on the wall, just kind of hanging there. That's hard to see from where you're normally looking at the podcast background. Then we've got Trevor's side of it, a trophy that honestly I have no idea when or how or why he won. But most importantly, his Oregon flag. And then as I can back up right here, you can see the whole desk, this big L shape right here. We've got one mic like this for me, so it's not cutting into the view as much. And then we've got this mic right here. It's this big arm on this thing that clamps to the desk. That makes it super versatile, so you can just pick it up right out of there. We've got another hub for one of those arms right here on the other side of the desk. And then I'm using the other one right now at our computer that we use to record and edit a lot of this stuff. So I'm making the devotionals right now. I've got that mic right here. I've got our little Mac Mini. The new M1 Mac Minis are pretty cheap, but pretty great. The important part here, though, is that between this audio interface right here and between that and this dummy battery that we found for $15, we are now not just recording haphazardly. We used to be recording everything on battery power, and so every once in a while an episode would just kind of die, and we'd have to restart, kind of figure out where we were in the conversation and find our way back. Now we don't have to. So that's a huge upgrade to this studio. Also, me not having to take apart my office is pretty great. We have another wall over here. It is our video interview wall or something. It's that white honeycomb pattern you saw before that we had as a stage design background piece. And it was great for that interview stuff, and now we can just use it forever. We don't have to wait for the stage to be available. We don't have to wait for there to be no noise in there. We can just do it whenever we want. And then we keep a lot of our stuff on the wall right here, a lot of our extra stuff, keep it out of the way. So we've got stools for the interview, another arm that we can mount somewhere with a mic. We've got our old lights, some more camera stands, and just a lot of other handy stuff. One of the last things tech-wise I want to show you in here is this box. It is actually a teleprompter. So for interviews that people have scripted out or testimonies they've scripted out, for devotionals we want to do, if they're video devotionals, small group materials, basically how that works is we have this camera stand that we use to record our podcast right there. We have this camera stand and we put the teleprompter on it. We put our camera on the back, and then there's this shroud that cinches right at the lens, and then this 45-degree angle piece of glass. And below that it has an arm to hold an iPad, so you can have a black screen with white text, and it scrolls teleprompter apps and whatever, and it'll shine that up to where you see it on the glass covering the lens, but you don't see it on the actual picture from the camera. So it'd be like I'm reading it right here, but you can't see it. Last big important piece of tech is this light. This is so helpful. Basically, we've mounted it into the drop ceiling. I can spin it around any direction I want. If we're shooting on the oh my gosh. If we're shooting on the interview wall, I can spin it there. If we're shooting something directly at this desk, I can shoot it there. Or if we're shooting the podcast, I can aim it there. And then on top of all that, one of the coolest pieces of this is that I can stall, as I show you, that I can control this from my phone. So while we're sitting there ready to record, if it looks too bright, I can change that. If it looks too cool, I can make it warmer. If it looks too warm, I can make it cooler. Color temperature. So that saves a lot of time, along with not having to stop because we're battery powered and some of that. There's one last wall, though, that I want to show you, and it is this wall. This wall is not done. But when it's done, we're going to take that TV off and shiplap over this wall for another interview wall, just with a different feel to it. And then on top of that, we're going to have this big bar roll down green screen. because we use a green screen a lot for our kids' camps. We film some of the skits for that. That way we don't have to do all the skits live and memorize it and whatever. So we do a lot of filming and editing over a green screen for that once a year. And to be able to have it in here and not take over another room, and we can just drop it down when we need it, that's going to be a huge help. So this is our new video studio. We already know that God's been using the stuff we're doing through video and media, different digital avenues. He's been using that as a part of our ministry, and so now we finally have a dedicated space that we can do that without getting in the way of other spaces, and devote more time and energy to that. So hope you like it.